Hi, it's Valerie D'Ambrosio, and welcome to the Connection Coach Tune-Up. I decided I wanted to take it outside today because it's so beautiful, and there is some distraction in the background, but that is life, right? So today's topic is how we equate being vulnerable to being unattractive. And I feel that is something that many of us do in life, and Brene Brown speaks of vulnerability very beautifully. If you haven't checked out her YouTube video on it, I highly recommend it. And that said, it's really about those moments when we allow ourselves to feel our feelings fully, which is something that we're not taught. Oftentimes in life, we're taught when we have certain feelings that if they don't feel good in our body, these catabolic feelings that are more lower vibration, like anger, fear, worry, sadness, judgment, that we just push them down and push them down. And so in that, when we allow them to come up, because energy doesn't disappear, it just changes form, right? So as it moves and we express it out verbally, it can leave us feeling very raw. It can leave us feeling really uncomfortable. And so a lot of meaning that we've given it in the past is many people. When I say we, I'm really speaking from a woman's perspective, although I know it's not only about women having this, it's all people actually. And that we make it really wrong. And from a woman's perspective, especially within relationships, it's perceived as really messy, it's unattractive, and now we're needy, and now we're too emotional and too much. And so what that inevitably leaves us doing is holding this down and holding this down and holding us down until it's kind of like the rock that's in the hose, that it all of a sudden explodes. And I've been sharing with you my recent relationship and expressing the different things that I'm experiencing, especially in a new relationship where you're learning a lot. You're learning a lot about each other. You're learning how a person is when they're sick, how a person is when they're busy at work, how a person is when you're on vacation, and all of these different things. And as we start to move through this new relationships and all the news and the firsts, it's been really interesting to watch my old wounds come up. And one of the wounds is I'm not good enough or lovable enough, and therefore that means that you'll leave. And so I'm sure many people can actually relate to this, as it is very common. And so really what I was able to do was, in speaking to Kevin about these feelings that I was feeling, I was also really able to express that if I allow myself space to feel these things, and I learn over time that it's safe, that A, he's not going anywhere, or B, he's not going to judge me, it's going to allow me to feel safe more and more every time. It also means that it is just as important for me to be able to create space for me to feel those things within my own self and not judge my own self for them when I feel them, right? So it's really becoming aware when we feel those feelings, what meaning are we giving them? And when we feel those feelings, where does our focus start going? Because if our focus starts going down some rabbit hole about this means that and this means that, and now look what he's doing, and look what I'm doing, and look what I'm doing, and look what's wrong, look what's wrong, look what's wrong, we're only going to see more of that. So it's really important to bring our focus then back to, well, what it is that we really do want from this. And in that spaciousness of allowing ourselves to feel those feelings fully, it's a practice, right? It's a learning, and we learn to A, trust ourselves in that expression, and B, then in turn we get to really see the people that are around us that can mirror us, that can validate us, that can reflect these feelings and say, hey, I see what you're feeling, and even though I don't understand it, I see it's painful for you, and so I'm here in whatever capacity. What do you need right now? And so we learn to, as friends, as intimate partners, as parents, whatever it is, we learn how to be there for one another, witness one another, and hold space. And it's got to start with self first. So if this resonates with you, if you're looking for more support around this, please feel free to reach out. Valerie@vdacoaching.com. In addition to that, find out all the fantastic things we have going on. We are about to launch our 12-week program called Sister Queen, and it is a phenomenal program, phenomenal. vdacoaching.com, under the coaching section, you will see a ton of information about it, including some videos. So continue to meet yourself with so much love and so much compassion. And as always in life, expect great things.